Hey there, Sparks Insights curious community. Get ready, because we're about to unpack a massive piece of legislation that's got everyone buzzing. The One Big Beautiful Bill. This isn't just any policy, it could change how much you pay in taxes, how you access healthcare, and even how secure our borders are. But is it the bold solution America needs, or a risky gamble that could backfire? Let's dive in and find out what's really at stake. Picture this. A bill so ambitious, it's been called a once-in-a-generation chance to reshape America's future, officially known as H.R. 1. The One Big Beautiful Bill passed the House of Representatives on May 22, 2025, by a nail-biting 215. Now, it's in the Senate's hands, where its fate hangs in the balance. Championed by President Donald Trump in his second term, this over 1,000-page package combines tax cuts, spending reductions, border security upgrades, welfare reforms, energy policy shifts, and immigration changes. It's Trump's vision for an America First agenda, but it's also sparked a firestorm of debate. So, what's inside this bill? Let's break it down. First up, taxes. The bill makes the 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent, keeping individual and corporate tax rates lower. If you earn between $30,000 and $80,000, you could see your tax bill drop by about $15,000. That's roughly $1,500 a year for someone making $50,000. Service workers and those clocking overtime get a big win too, with taxes on tips and overtime completely eliminated, potentially saving thousands annually. Families benefit from a child tax credit boost from $2,000 to $2,500 per child, and seniors get higher deductions for medical expenses. Businesses aren't left out. 100 immediate expensing for equipment and a 23% deduction for small businesses could spark investment and job growth. The White House claims these cuts will increase take-home pay by $13,300 and wages by $11,600 over 4 years, creating 7 million jobs. Next, spending cuts. The bill slashes $1.6 trillion from mandatory programs, with Medicaid taking the biggest hit. It introduces work requirements for able-bodied adults without dependents, meaning they must work, volunteer, or train 20 hours a week to keep benefits. It also ends Medicaid coverage for 1.4 million undocumented immigrants, saving $1.4 billion, and limits retroactive coverage to 1 month. Supporters say these changes cut waste and promote self-reliance, but critics warn they could leave millions without healthcare, especially in rural areas where hospitals depend on Medicaid funds. Border security is a cornerstone of the bill. It funds 701 miles of primary border wall, 900 miles of river barriers, and 629 miles of secondary barriers. It also hires 10,000 ICE agents, 5,000 customs officers, and 3,000 border patrol agents, offering them $10,000 annual bonuses. The goal? Deport 1 million illegal immigrants each year. This fulfills Trump's campaign promise to secure the border, but it's raised concerns about costs and humanitarian impacts, like family separations. Energy policy takes a sharp turn. The bill opens federal lands for oil, gas, coal, and geothermal leasing, repeals over $500 billion in green energy tax credits, including those for electric vehicles, and scraps EV mandates. This aligns with Trump's push for energy dominance, potentially lowering gas prices, but environmentalists argue it could worsen climate change. Immigration measures go beyond the border. The bill stops tax credits for undocumented immigrants, taxes, remittances sent abroad, and adds fees like $500 for special immigrant juvenile applications. These aim to make immigration self-funding, but some call them overly harsh. Finally, the bill raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion to cover existing obligations. Supporters argue the $1.6 trillion in spending cuts balance this out, but critics estimate it could add $2.5 trillion to the deficit over a decade. Why is this bill so divisive? Supporters, like Trump and House Speaker Mike Johnson, see it as a bold move to boost prosperity and security. They argue the tax cuts will fuel economic growth, much like the 2017 tax cuts did, and the border measures will protect the nation. The White House calls it a once-in-a-generation opportunity to cement an America First agenda, White House statement. But critics, including Elon Musk, are sounding alarms. Musk labeled it a disgusting abomination, warning of a massive deficit spike. The Congressional Budget Office backs this up, estimating a $2.6 trillion deficit increase by 2030 for curve analysis. Critics also slam the Medicaid cuts, which could see 8.6 million Americans lose coverage by 2034, and the energy shifts, which they say prioritize fossil fuels over the planet's future. Even Republicans are split. Senators like Rand Paul and Mike Crapo oppose the debt ceiling hike, with Paul warning that Republicans will own the debt if they back it. Democrats, meanwhile, decry the spending cuts and immigration policies, making Senate passage a tough climb. What could this mean for you? If the bill passes, your taxes could drop significantly. A middle-income earner might save $1,500 a year, while service workers could pocket thousands more. But if you rely on Medicaid, you might face hurdles accessing care, especially in rural areas where hospitals are stretched thin. The CBO predicts 5.2 million could lose Medicaid due to work requirements alone. Job-wise, business incentives could create opportunities, with estimates of 7 million new jobs over 4 years. The Tax Foundation projects a 0.8% GDP boost long-term, which could mean higher wages. Tax Foundation analysis. Border security measures might reduce illegal immigration, but could strain communities with increased enforcement. Energy costs might dip with more fossil fuel production, but at the cost of higher emissions, worrying those focused on climate change. If the bill fails, the 2017 tax cuts expire, raising your taxes, and border funding could stall, shifting Trump's priorities. Politically, this is a high-stakes game. With a 53-47 Senate majority, Republicans need near-unanimous support, but at least 2 senators are likely no votes, and others, like Susan Collins, worry about healthcare impacts. NPR Senate debate. The Senate is tweaking the bill, eyeing Medicare waste cuts, aiming for a July 4, 2025, deadline. But changes could spark pushback from House Republicans who barely passed the original. So, what's the bottom line? The One Big Beautiful Bill is a bold, divisive push to reshape America. It promises lower taxes, more jobs, and stronger borders, but risks higher deficits, healthcare gaps, and environmental setbacks. Whether it passes or not, it'll shape Trump's legacy and your future. What do you think, game changer or risky bet? Drop "I'm in" the comments if this opened your eyes, and hit subscribe for more deep dives. Stay curious, and let's see where this goes.